Good evening and welcome to this very special show with my guest Giovanna Giraud-Saunders, and we're both members of the Wiltshire Business Club. Hello, Giovanna.
Hello.
Right, now the purpose of these business sessions online is just so we can have a chat with everybody who's a member of the Wiltshire Business Club, and it is a growing club supporting businesses throughout Wiltshire and, as Roland would like to say, beyond. So, welcome, Giovanna. My first question, because we want to know more about the topic of tonight, which is homeopathy works for everybody. And let's begin at the beginning. Where and when did you first become interested in homeopathy?
First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me tonight, and thank you very much as well for the Wiltshire Business Club, which was so helpful in setting up a business, because I'm not a business person, I'm a homeopath, and it made life so much easier. So first I became interested in homeopathy back in Germany, where I come from, through a friend when we had small children. And as probably all new parents know, when you have small children, you become ill very often, and the children are always ill. So my health was quite run down. And I had that friend saying, oh, there's a wonderful new doctor. He's just marvelous. You have to see him. And he still takes patients and he works with homeopathy. And I was wondering, saying, what is that? And she explained a bit what it is and what it is about. And I was a bit curious, and I thought, okay, I'll just go and see him. And I had a sore throat, and I went into the consulting room, and he just examined me. And then he asked which side my throat was painful at. And I had to think about it, because nobody ever asked me such a question. So after a while I said, well, it's the left side. And he gave me a little pill to take home and said, well, dissolve it in a glass of water and take a sip every half an hour. Mm-hmm. Should be gone by tomorrow. If not, just come back and see me. And it was gone the next day. I was really amazed. So I took my children to him as well. And it was just amazing what difference it made. They weren't so ill so often anymore, and they didn't need so much antibiotics anymore. And it was just, when they were ill, it didn't take so long. And it was just nice to be able to give them something when they woke up in the middle of the night not feeling very well. So it was really great, and it made a big difference in my life. So when I came to England and was looking for a job, I found a day job with 20 hours, which was not really enough to occupy me. So I thought, I'd just try and see if I can learn something new. And I saw that advertisement from the British School of Homeopathy, which were at that time in Bath, Spa University. I thought, give that a go, because I know a little bit about it. And it is just such a nice tool to have to help other people. So and I got really hooked up.
Right. Okay.
And I did the training for 5 years, and now here I am helping people.
Right, and you're based in Devizes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I practice from home, but I do house visits to existing patients as well, if they are housebound or not very mobile. So I'll do that as well.
So homeopathy helps you. You then went on to study it for 5 years. And basically, the next question is, what is homeopathy and where does it come from?
Well, homeopathy is a rational form of integrated medicine. It was developed since 1790 from a German physician called Samuel Hahnemann. And there are a lot of principles and laws behind homeopathy, but basically it is, it helps the body to heal itself, basically. Okay. And that is done by one of the principles is that you cure like with like. My example, which I always use, is that you use a substance which produces certain symptoms in a healthy body to treat the same symptoms in a diseased body. I always use the onion as an example. So when you peel an onion, you get watery eyes, which are burning, and you get a runny nose, which is blocked. So if somebody comes and sees me with a runny nose and burning, watering eyes, my first thought is, yeah, I use onion. So that would be the first remedy I look at, because it exactly produces those symptoms in a healthy body. And yeah, so there are lots of homeopathic remedies, medicines which are called remedies, and you treat the symptoms basically,
right,
in the whole person.
Right. Now looking at your website, you said homeopathy works for everybody. Can you expand on that?
It is a very safe and gentle form of medicine. It has no side effects and it is not addictive. So you can use it for all ages. Everybody, from basically the newborn baby to fragile elderly people, and even in pregnancy, it is very safe to use. And it has an answer for everything. I work with a patient because getting back to health is a journey you have to go through. And sometimes the symptoms shift. Sometimes you get other symptoms, or old symptoms come back. So, but you basically treat the whole person, because even if you just have a broken leg, it is not just the broken leg. The whole person is affected emotionally and mentally as well. So I take everything into consideration. And my first consultation takes sometimes more than 2 hours, because I try and get a whole picture of the whole person, not just the ailments and the symptoms the person expresses. I ask all sorts of questions about the person, the medical history, the likes, the dislikes, environment, what environment they feel most comfortable with, and try to get a picture of the person that I can then fit a medicine to that person.
Right. So it's a very personal service then.
Yeah, very individual. Yeah.
So you're interested in individual life, really.
Yeah, because not everybody is the same. I mean, there are diseases which have the same symptoms sometimes. Like flu, and you can approach a disease from that angle as well. But it doesn't mean it works for everybody then. But it's still, you still have to personalize the approach. But we have over 4,000 homeopathic medicines, and they are basically from the mineral kingdom, from the plant kingdom, from animals, and we just use minute doses, so you don't get the negative things. And it is basically a little bit with a computer, because people sometimes say, oh, it doesn't work, it can't work, because there's nothing left of the original substance in those high potencies. But it is a bit, like with a computer, where the information gets transformed on a different substance. In the computer, you have the silicon chip, and in homeopathy, you use the water.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with chemistry. It is more quantum physics, which is a bit of a hard topic, I have to say.
Right. But I mean, the root of your interest is because it worked from the moment you tried it. Yeah,
and I believe that homeopathy is the only way to save us from future health disasters, because it is just there's only so much thing you can do with antibiotics, and now we have all those antibiotic resistance and the allergies and superbugs in the hospitals, and there is a limited amount you can do, but with homeopathy you have an answer. You always have an answer, because you can even derive a medicine from an allopathic drug. And there are constantly developing new medicines, like from cling film, or actually pathogenics,
yes,
like measles or chicken pox. You can basically make everything into a homeopathic medicine, which is very good.
I mean, we live in a world which is changing, don't we? It certainly has changed. If we think of the number of people who now suffer from asthma and illnesses of the like, that has risen greatly, hasn't it, over the years? Because the environment changes.
Yeah, and the food changes because of the pesticides which are used, and the fungicides. So people have more allergies, what is something I'm very interested in, because I see it every day that people can't eat gluten anymore, and then they become either very sensitive, like the child who actually can't sit beside another child who had just an almond croissant or something for lunch.
Yes.
So people become more sensitive, or they develop more allergies. They start with gluten, and then they can't eat dairy anymore, and then they are allergic against vinegar as well. So it is quite spreading, and you have to do something about it. And homeopathy provides answers and solutions, which is very good.
Indeed. I mean, there are in the UK doctors' practices which have homeopathy available, aren't there?
Yeah, but usually they get a 6 weeks course, and that is, homeopathy is a lifelong learning, basically, and you never stop. It is just so much to know, and the fine-tuning sometimes, because just one symptom can change the whole remedy picture. If the pain is on the left side instead of the right side, it becomes a completely different remedy. So there is a lot you have to know. And I always say, if homeopathy doesn't work, you don't have the right remedy.
Right, fully understand that. But then again, it is an area in which people are getting more involved and accepting that it works.
Well, and it can be used alongside mainstream medicine as well. They do it in India quite a lot with big success. And I mean, I was talking to Indian doctors who are homeopaths, and they see something like 50 patients a day. I don't think I could do that, but they are so efficient and so spot on, which is really amazing. But you need a lot of practice and a lot of experience for that. And it's quite a good tool to have in your back pocket or in your front pocket.
Indeed. I mean, I was doing a little bit of research, certainly not the 5 years learning, but in America, over the counter at the chemists, that there are $2.7 billion worth of homeopathic remedies which are sold. So it's not just homeopathy is worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I'm not very good with numbers, but I think it is the second most used medicine in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do a lot with it. And as I said, it has answers to problems.
Right. Now, you say you treat the whole person, but a person coming to you will have symptoms. Now, if we just talk about several of those in general terms, not specific patients, but in terms of arthritis. If somebody came to you and said, I have arthritis, can you help?
Well, I would take, as I said, in my first consultation, I try and get a whole picture of the patient, of the person, asking, as I said, lots of questions. Sometimes you might think, what has that to do with my arthritis? But it is. I would need that information, and then I just take away the case and I look at the whole person, which presents me here, and I look at a remedy which comes to mind or which might be indicated. And yeah, so I probably would never give two patients with the same disease the same thing. And yeah, it might change because, yeah, as I said, becoming healthy is a journey. And sometimes you have to take layers off. So it's like a bit like an onion where you take one layer off and you get a completely different picture. So my follow-ups are sometimes a bit longer than half an hour as well, because, yeah, you can't tell a whole life in just 2 hours.
Indeed, but it's a totally different approach from that taken by doctors, where you've got a 10-minute appointment and that's it. I mean,
yeah, but in fairness, they don't have very much time. That is,
yeah.
That is a bit sad. But yeah, I try and just take that time the patient need and I need to know. And sometimes, yeah, I have to ask a lot of questions.
So it's getting to know each other. It's a personal relationship which builds up, which gives you a full picture of, as you say, 4,000 available homeopathic remedies. And you only with the full picture, can you tell which is going to work?
Yeah. But you never get the whole picture just in one session. As I said, it might shift. You might get different layers. And sometimes people forget about things. They forget about that they had measles when they were young or something. And sometimes they just don't know because they were too young. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it is possible to say, oh, go back and ask your mother or your grandmother about it. And they do, and they come back. And yeah, it is very interesting just to see. And sometimes you can conclude things because of the symptoms presented.
Right.
Yeah, but there are different approaches. So my doctor in Germany, he used the clinical approach where he just checked the symptoms. Yeah, sore throat on the left side, you get that remedy. On the right side, you get another one. You can do that. Or there is the Bombay method where you actually ask for sensations. What does that feel like? So there are different approaches, but I'm a classical homeopath and I take the whole person and, yeah, with likings and dislikings in food, in environment, and yeah, trying to get one question I always ask, which some people find a bit disturbing. So, how would you describe yourself? Right. It's quite a difficult question. So yeah, sometimes I get funny looks, thinking, "Oh, what is that?"
Well, yeah, but as you said earlier, homeopathy is spread around the world, and people know that it works. The people who have been treated know that it works, and the benefits. And that's the thing about it. That if you have a situation where you go to the doctors, and the doctor tries to help you, and he can't for whatever reason, then an alternative is to approach a homeopathist.
Well, homeopathy is not a quick fix. I mean, in acutes, it is time critical, or in first aid situations, you can achieve quite a lot. For example, if I bang my hand and I take a pill of arnica instantly, then I won't get a bruise.
Right.
So you can approach it like that, but in general, it is not a quick fix. You have to admit a bit of time, particularly if it is a chronic disease. You come and want to see me with. So I always say that it takes the time to get better, the time it took to become ill. So that is a kind of ballpark figure. But yeah, it is sometimes a journey, yeah.
So it's a journey during which you will adjust the remedies that you're giving.
Yeah, and usually I see my patients every 4 weeks, but again, that is different with every patient. Some people need more, some people need less. So yeah, I just, it very individual, yeah.
Yes. Right.
Depends on the person.
Mm. Is there anything you feel we've not covered? Because I'm open to learn. What should I know about homeopathy in your thoughts?
That is a very effective medicine, and that it enables you to heal yourself, that you can work with it. It empowers the patient. You don't have to take something I just press on you. You just, how shall I say it? You feel safe. I mean, I use it for myself. Whatever I have, I just recently had a toothache, and it was just, I usually look at the modalities, what makes it better, what makes it worse, and there was absolutely nothing. So I was just thinking, why do I have that toothache? And I was trying different remedies, but I always felt safe in the knowledge something takes care of me. Yes. I don't get an abscess or anything because something is working, and I will eventually find something that the toothache will go away. And yeah, it moved a little bit, and then it moved back, and then it became better. And it is very empowering.
Yes.
You feel safe and empowered somehow. I don't know how to describe it. Sounds a bit airy-fairy, but it is just... Or when I was still using it for my children, when they woke up in the night and they had high fevers and they were agitated and I was agitated, just a little pilule, I was doing something for them and they were receiving something, and I felt safe in the knowledge that something will work for them. And yeah, the next morning they were free of fever, they were happy, and probably they felt that because I was calm, they felt safe as well. So it was really empowering. You were doing something. Yeah. So it was really good. Really good.
We have a question which I'll read out, and then you can answer. And the question is, what is something you should take every day just for general health? Is there anything
that is something which is very individual again. What is general health? What would you call general health? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want to feel more energy?
Right.
Usually you quite a lot of people have a constitutional remedy, and with some people it is quite clear. I look at them and I think, yeah, that's your constitutional remedy, and that would bring up their constitution. It wouldn't change them, but it would make them a healthy individual. But it is not clear with every person because there might be too many layers. Mm-hmm. But your constitutional remedy can give you general well-being. So it is not something which I could just shake out of my sleeve. I would need to see the person.
Indeed. Thank you for the question. And it's my pleasure today to be speaking to Giovanna about homeopathy. And we started off at the beginning by saying that you actually treat the whole person, and you do the first session is a 2-hour session to discover the history of the person. I just want to go over that before we stop recording. So it's just a recap, really.
Okay.
So if we just go through the process that happens when somebody comes to see you for the first time.
Well, yeah, I would take the case. As I said, the first consultation is about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, sometimes less. It depends on what they actually want to disclose, what they want to say. I don't press anything out of people. It's just, what they want to tell me. And as I said, I take away the case, I work, I prescribe, I provide the medicine. And usually after 4 weeks, I see the person again, and we go over what changed, what was different, how they felt, all kind of things, not only the symptoms, their emotions, sleep, energy. I would ask a lot of questions again. And then I would take away again the case and check over what did actually the remedy do for the person. Does he need, or does the person need the same thing, maybe in a different potency, or another thing? Though I would just check, and again, after I would prescribe, I provide the medicine. After 4 weeks, I see the person again, and so on. But sometimes you need to see a person a bit more often. Sometimes there are acutes which coming out, which I would prescribe immediately. Say if you present with something which is pressing, like a sore throat, or sometimes life happens.
It does.
Yeah, so I would prescribe on that as well. Yeah, and work with a patient.
Okay. Now, you said earlier that there are 4,000 remedies available to you. How do you actually start choosing which ones to apply? Just generally rather than specifically?
Well, after a while, you get a feeling for what could be the right remedy when you see a person. And it is very seldom that I don't have a clue. But if I don't have a clue, then I have lots of books, which lots of symptoms and what we call a repertory. So I would go to my repertory and I would look up the symptoms, and they would point me to possible remedies. And I've got a big book, which is called Materia Medica, where all the remedies are listed and what they do. So I take all those lists with a possible remedies and go through the Materia Medica and just check, is that my patient here or is it not? What is right? What is wrong? So I would make a decision on what could be the first prescription. And which is sometimes a lot of work. Sometimes I need 2 days, and sometimes I see a person and I think, yeah, I think you need this remedy straight away.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, it's sometimes a lot of work.
Yes. Well, that's apparent. I mean, you say, 5 years of study, but the study never stops, does it?
No, it never stops, because there are coming new remedies out and you learn from people who have more experience than you. I was just doing earlier this year a seminar with a very prolific homeopathic doctor in the USA. He was doing a seminar on neurodegenerative diseases, which was very, very interesting. And he not only used homeopathy, he used things like Qigong and brainwaves and superfoods, and it was very, very interesting. And yeah, we went through a lot of homeopathic remedies as well, and you start to see different remedies in different lights, and it is very good, and it broadened my experience and it helped me, and hopefully I can help the patients as well with that, particularly for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Yes, well, we've got a situation where we're all the population is aging, isn't it?
Yeah.
And therefore, we're encountering problems that we've not done before, with so many people growing old. So it is a fascinating and changing field. Right. Well, we've amazingly been going half an hour. So, if you want to say, thank you to everybody who's going to watch the recording later, and put a message out to Wiltshire Business Club. If you'd like to do that, then I'll stop the recording.
Sorry, what shall I do?
Sorry, just say thank you to everybody who's going to be watching this in the future. And if you want to put your link to your website in the bottom right in a moment when we finish recording.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching, but I haven't got a clue how to put my website link in.
Oh, right.
I'm not great with this computer.
Right. To everybody who's watching this live, thank you. And I mention Angelica at least once in every blog that I do. So thank you, Angelica. To everybody who watches the recording on YouTube, we hope you find this informative and useful. and we're going to put a link in where you can contact Giovanna if you have any questions about either using homeopathy in your own life or learning how to become more involved in living a better life. Because it's not just about curing, it's about improving people's life, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you, everyone, and see you on the next blab. And Giovanna, it's been a delight. We've been chatting away and time's just flown by. And I look forward to meeting again in real life very soon. Thank you, everyone, and
very much.
Thank you and good night.